Thank you. Thank you very much. You can spot a professional a mile away, can't you, hey? Welcome. It's lovely to see you this morning. We're here to celebrate the goodness of Jesus. And the goodness of Jesus extends all over the world, which is an absolutely amazing thing. So we're going to hear lots of stories. This service is called Messaging from Uganda. And this morning we're going to hear lots of stories about people who recently traveled to Uganda. So they're going to need a lot of smiles and encouragement as they talk this morning. So support them, get behind them, because they've got some great stories to tell. And don't we all love a really good story? Okay, this morning we're going to hear lots and lots of stories. And while you guys are still in, I wanted you to know that it wasn't old people like me that went to Uganda alone. We had some young people. They were like our carers, weren't they, Brian? They kind of looked after us and kept us safe and made sure that we ate properly and didn't do anything that was too bad. And two of them, Valerie and Libby, they're first up. Let's hear it for them. Whee! This is completely unrehearsed. No, it's not. You rehearsed.
Is the mic on? I can't see that. Our favourite part of our trip was going to see family villages around and outside the city. One of the places we went to was a small village consisting of a few huts and crop fields. We were out there to see a girl called Evelyn who has cerebral palsy. However, despite her condition, she was full of life and always smiling. When we arrived at the village, we were greeted enthusiastically by her family. It was really inspiring to see how people who have so little were so kind and grateful for everything they had. Their family had been given a wheelchair, which Evelyn was brought out on to come meet us. She seemed to really enjoy seeing us and was consistently shaking our hands. She was clearly well looked after, which was really great to see. After we had been introduced to everyone, we went back to the van to give them blankets and clothes. Whilst we were walking to the van, one of the little girls walked alongside us and held our hands as we went. She was very sweet and grateful for the new dresses and blankets we shared with them.
Later on the same day, we visited another village, again consisting of a few huts and a very loud orchard. This time we were visiting a 16-year-old boy called Brian. He again had cerebral palsy, but he was unfortunately very malnourished. Although now he has been taken to a hospital for treatment thanks to Billy. During our visit, Brian's family gave us lots of fruit, including guavas and oranges, which were delicious. And one of the women was expecting a baby, so we gave her lots of newborn baby clothes and the small children some more dresses and blankets. Our favourite part of this whole day was probably seeing the joy in their faces of the families when we visited, and overall the whole trip taught us that we should be more grateful for what we have, as the people of Uganda have so little, yet they are so full of life and they don't take anything for granted.
Thank you very much. Tell you. Brilliant. Absolutely lovely. And now, another young person that came with us, Daniel, he's going to come and tell his story. Thank you, Daniel. Hello, mate.
Good morning, everyone. My name's Daniel. I was one of Brian's carers out in Uganda. So. It was hard. It was really hard. I just want to talk about mostly the people who I met out there. Because I felt, before I went on this trip, I sort of had this subconscious thought that maybe people out there, they're going to be sad. Because you're sort of like portrayed an image of, like disparity and whatnot. But that is entirely wrong. Everyone out there who I met, far more happy than anyone I've met before, to be completely honest. They're full of joy, they're full of love, and they're just so welcoming to anyone who sees them, really. In the ancestral homes, they were lovely. In the church, they were lovely. The pastors, the elders, they were all fantastic. And they made that trip seem like a vacation, to be honest, because it was just so enjoyable to be there. So yeah, thank you. It was a great experience, and yeah, that's all I have to say. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks, Daniel. Thanks for unmatting Brian's beard on many occasions. Because once the dust and dirt flies around in Uganda, it does get a bit matted. So thank you so much for looking after him in that way. Well done, guys. Thank you so much for that. There's going to be more stories as we go along this morning of being together. One of the more senior members of the squad that went to Uganda was Andy. And, you were surprised then. You didn't know I was referring to you, did you? No. Andy's going to come and tell something of his story. His messaging from Uganda. Thanks very much, Andy. Just to say, those that don't know who Andy is, he can explain himself.
Good morning, everyone. So, going to Uganda wasn't at the top of my bucket list, I must admit. It wasn't something that I really wanted to do, but because Dan and my son Noah were only 17, they needed a guardian to go. And so from the back of the room, as per normal, someone shouted, "Andy'll do it." So off I went. For me, I needed kind of, because I'm not a member of the church, I thought, what can I do out there? Well, I'll fill a suitcase full of rugby balls, because I coach at the rugby club, both under 16s and the special needs program that we run there. So I filled the suitcase up with all our old shirts, lots of rugby balls, and took it all out there. There were some, we got some images. So the plan was to do a couple of sessions at Crossroads with the kids there, and we started off with doing a session with the boys. Unfortunately, we didn't get any photos of that. But we did a session with the girls, which was fantastic. I think if you move on, there we go. They really, really enjoyed it. They ran rings around both me and Noah, unfortunately. As a couple, so after the training session, we handed out about 30 odd shirts. That was at the graduation, actually. We handed those out, and hopefully the school are going to use them when they practice their rugby. And then, if you go on to the next one, I think you might have missed one. Well, this was a big surprise to us, actually. When I got there, Esso, who's the IT teacher and the sports teacher at the school, said that there was another school, St Michael's, that actually play rugby, and they wanted me to go and coach there. So the day before we left, we went over there. We took some more kit for them as well. But there, and we also took some kids from Crossroads who really enjoyed, some of the boys who really enjoyed the session came across with us. But here I met Emmanuel and Thomas, who are two rugby players from Soroti Rangers, which is the local team. When we actually arrived in Soroti, you drive through Soroti, there was a big open field and there was a set of rugby posts that were like that. And they're basically just two trees that they stick in the ground, but they only last for a couple of months because the termites eat them. So they always end up like that. But this was what I was expecting to do when I went there, was just do a couple of sessions. But this session opened up a massive opportunity for myself and the rugby club. We didn't realise this school played rugby, and we didn't realise there were coaches available to coach in other schools. So Emmanuel and Thomas here are now going to start coaching at Crossroads School so that they can build a team. And we have a WhatsApp group now of Esso from Crossroads, Vincent from St Michael's, and 3 coaches. And we're looking at now the club twinning with Soroti Rangers and sending out coaching materials so that those three coaches can start not only coaching more in Crossroads and St Michael's, but spreading out to other schools. And then from that, what we're hoping is that we can start sponsoring, through the other rugby clubs, not just Thanet Wanderers, but other rugby clubs in Kent, we can start maybe scholarships and sponsoring some of these kids to go and study in rugby playing schools, of which hopefully Crossroads will become one. And that will obviously be through Global Challenge. But that's kind of the plan at the moment. Hopefully it'll come to fruition, and we're going to keep trying to sort of send kit out there. But from going from something that I wasn't particularly keen on, I'm definitely going back, because this has opened up a whole opportunity for myself and hopefully the kids over there who want to play some rugby to achieve something that maybe they would never have thought possible before. So, looking forward to going back. Thanks very much.
So if you notice the Welsh rugby team with a lot of Ugandan players appearing over this autumn period, you'll know why I signed up quite a few, because we can do with all the help that we can get. Thank you, Andy. Lynn, Sue and Fleur now are going to come and tell something of their stories as well. Sorry, Lynn, I'm shifting things around as always, but you know me well enough to know.
Good morning. My postcard from Uganda. I've got a loud voice, haven't I? What a wonderful trip I had. I was amazed at how green the country is, but not surprised, as when we were there, we had amazing thunderstorms, lightning, plenty of rain, and plenty of sunshine. The journey was quite hard, so we'll forget that bit. Our hotel is very nice and the staff lovely, with excellent pancakes for breakfast, served with the best pineapple. The best thing, however, without a doubt, were the people we met. The young people at the school are charming. They can dance and sing, and at the same time, they take their education seriously and seem to enjoy the school and were very welcoming to us. We went to the villages. The children there touched my heart. With nothing to play with, yet they seemed happy. And we saw goats and chickens everywhere. We were meant to be going there to help paint the school, which we did, but I felt I was given far more than I gave. The whole experience opened my eyes to my life and how God has been so good to me. Getting to know the people we met at the churches and the schools, and those we went with, was such an important part of the trip. As you know, I like to talk. I enjoyed all the different places we visited, apart from the roads. Don't moan about the potholes in Thanet. Everywhere there were hundreds of motorbikes with lots of people on them. 5 on one bike was the most we saw, but a man with a fridge freezer on the back of his took the biscuit. The drivers were crazy. The most frightening thing that ever happened to me was I was given the opportunity to sit at the front of the minibus. Once, never again. As I have said, the trip was wonderful in so many ways. And would I go again? Yes, please.
Well, I still feel surprised that I ended up in Uganda. I mean, how did that happen? I really didn't want to go. I was scared about the mosquitoes. I'm paranoid about them. I was worried about the lavatorial arrangements, or lack of, especially on the 7 to 8 hour journey from Entebbe to Soroti in a minibus. And what was I going to do with my Wordle streak? Was so good at that time, you know, how was I going to lose that? But God kept opening every door and pushing me through. Normally, I couldn't have gone because I had work commitments. I have to work during term time, but no, I don't anymore. I can sort of pick and choose when I work. I have to go every week to look after my grandchildren. But no, because my daughter-in-law is on maternity leave at the moment, so I'm not actually needed every week. And then the sort of final thing that pushed me through was the fact that my daughter Fleur and her husband Alex were able to go as well. And so, yeah, that was a huge encouragement, and so off I went. And there I was, pinching myself at 1 a.m. in the morning after we arrived, thinking, I'm in Uganda. Wow. And it was so different from what I'd expected. I've been a supporter of Global Challenge since it began, and I've seen all the videos, the photos, heard all about it. But it just doesn't compare with when you're actually there. I didn't know how green it was. I mean, it's a beautiful country, and I actually loved the journey from Entebbe to Soroti, just because it was all new and fascinating. And I had a very good guide sitting next to me who had been there, I think, 21 times, and he told me everything I wanted to know about it. And a few things probably I didn't, but I was very grateful for that. But yeah, everybody was so friendly and seemed so grateful. And one of the things that really struck me that was such a blessing was that everybody was open about their Christianity. They talked about it. They assumed you were Christian. And that is really lovely in this day and age when, you know, you feel a bit, I'm a Christian actually. That was a huge thing for me to experience. We had an amazing church service. I know Fleur's going to speak about that. Alex and I went to the same one at New Life Baptist Church. The preaching was excellent. That was Alex. But it was the worship. It just blew us away. I mean, you couldn't help but dance. It was terrific. And we also had the dedication of a baby whose mother had done our tailoring course, and baby Eliana was dedicated that day, so that was very special. But the thing that's really sort of inspired me is the plans for the new school. We're hoping to move the school from where it is on a very small site, the same site as Rockview Baptist Church, to new land just on the outskirts of Soroti. 15 acres of land we bought 10 years ago, and it's still in bush state. But we went there, saw the land, and walked right round the edge of it. There are trees on there with fruit trees, so they'd have their own fruit. But I mean, it all needs clearing and building. But there's so much opportunity. They can grow their own crops there. They have to do agriculture as a part of their courses, so that sort of ties in, but it also makes them more self-sufficient. They'd be able to keep chickens and goats, so that would help them be more just self-sustaining. So it would benefit Global Challenge to be able to do more beyond that as well. So please pray for it, and come on, let's get on with it. Thank you.
Good morning. I think I just was so impressed by what I saw in Uganda, the things that Global Challenge do, and as someone who grew up in the church from being a baby until now, and just seeing the pictures and hearing about all the trips that were going out, I never thought about going myself, which is funny because that's what I do for a living. But then the opportunity came. My mum reached out to me at the beginning of the year and was like, there's an opportunity to go to Uganda, would you love to come? And I was like, wow, I never thought about going before, but I would love to. And so we came along and we just saw what was happening. We saw the school, and we saw all of the children who were being sponsored, and it was just amazing to sit with them and for them to share the education that they were receiving and just all the plans that they had. And we asked them what your dreams for the future are, and they would share, I want to be a lawyer, I want to be a doctor. And it was just so cool that we could be a part of this. And I just love that Global Challenge is not just a one-off thing, but it's a long-term relationship with the people. And just to be able to see it with my own eyes after hearing about it for so long, and to see the chicken on a stick that Stephen has been talking about for many years, and actually seeing it with my eyes, what that actually is, was breathtaking. And it was just really nice to do it with my mum as well. That was something that I was really excited about doing, to be able to experience that alongside her. And the church that we went to was just so full of joy, so full of energy. I just loved the dancing. And we were all trying to get into the rhythm of it and join along, and not doing a very good job, but they didn't seem to mind, so we just kept going. And just, yeah, I think in all, I would just really encourage you that seeing it with your own eyes is so different to just hearing about it. And if you have the opportunity to go and see it and experience it, I think it will really, blow your mind about how actually big this project is. So, thank you for listening to me this morning.
Wow, amazing stories. How powerful stories when people have lived it and the changes that come because of their new experiences. How wonderful is that? Sue, I just want you to know that I've never ever sat in the front of a minibus in Uganda. I always invite other people to do it. And when they first arrive in Uganda, they think, oh, that's really nice. Steve's allowing me to sit in the front here, be right at the back. Right at the back is where I always sit, in case you've never noticed it, with my eyes closed all the way. Thank you so much, Sarah. Brian, another romantic.
Yeah, thanks for that.
No, great story. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.
So hopefully, I'm going to try and keep this really quick because Stephen just wouldn't shut up. So just a couple of quick things from the visit. The chap that sat behind the bike, you can't quite see him, behind the rear wheel, is Otto. He had to leave school at Senior 3, which is the equivalent of our first year of GCSEs, because he couldn't afford the school fees. But he wanted to be a mechanical engineer, and so he watched videos on YouTube, and he found this chap who'd made a car out of wood, who lived in China, and he contacted him through YouTube, and they had backward and forward communications, Otto asking lots of questions, and he managed to make this bike using bits of scrap wood and metal and bike that he found. He made another 5 bikes. He sold 4 of them for enough money to pay for his younger brother to go to school. So there's a great example of good communication, of technology bringing us together, and of perseverance and determination to do better and to improve. The chap that doesn't have a beard was a student, former student of Crossroads School. He was in the 2nd cohort, so he was at school 2007, we think. No, he started Crossroads School. Did 4 years at Crossroads School, finished, went on to college, went on to university, became a doctor. He's now a practicing doctor, and he's doing well. And so, because he's doing well, and in gratitude of the opportunity he had through Crossroads, he goes back to Crossroads School on a regular basis and donates his money to the school. Again, a great example of that continuation and self-sustaining ethos that Global Challenge really want to help encourage and support. As has been mentioned, we went out to villages. One of the little villages in Gweri that we went to. I'm not going to say too much about these because others have already said it. But the roads that we travelled on to get there, just wanted to point out and enhance what has been said about the state of some of the roads. These are typical roads, and there you can see that crisscrossing tracks that's going up that road. And that's where everyone's avoiding potholes and gullies that are in the middle of the road. And so what you've got there is you've got both directions coming together as they try and avoid this. Now, whilst we were out there, I think it was, or just around about that time, there was quite a big accident on the main road from Kampala up to the north of Uganda, where two buses had a head-on. They were both overtaking vehicles and met in the middle, and it was a huge accident. We saw several overturned cars while we were out there, partly because of roads like this, partly because the vehicles are run until they break down. One of the axles broke on a lorry and it was overturned, we saw. So yeah, it's great and we have a great experience, but what I want to be able to kind of bring across is the realness of what it's like out there, because it's very easy to sit, and I came, as many of you, from a generation where we've seen, you know, Live Aid and the stories of Ethiopia, and you kind of get stuck with these images of what it's like out in Africa. But it's quite easy to kind of let that wash over you a little bit and carry on with your daily life. And when we're talking about places like this, there are two words that I really dislike and struggle with, but we have to use them. And it's them and us. And coming back from Uganda, I live in Elsham, and on every lamppost at Elsham, there's flags, Union Jacks, St George's Cross. And on every roundabout going around the place, even here, the crosses are painted. And for me, that is focusing on the them and us. And I really want to just focus on the us. Can I have the sound on for the slide? You might think it rained today. Give us some more volume. This happened pretty much every day for several hours, for at least a week while we were out there. Quite often we would get 2 or 3 bouts of rain across the day, and thunder and lightning. This was October the 6th, which is the Monday before we headed back. This is Kampala, capital city of Uganda. Now, that's just from some of that rain that I've just shown you, and that's in the city, the capital city. Think what these roads are like when that's happening. Think what these villages are like when that's happening. You know, livelihoods literally washed away. And I don't want to dwell on negatives, but I do want to really emphasize the need for communication, the need for empathy and compassion. And that's what we're about. Thank you.
I just, please sit down. I just wanted to say to the team that went to Uganda this time, thank you so much, because there is more, by the way. Look out for their reflections on the morning readings. I don't know when that's happening, Brian, but there's a lot more that those guys have got to say and a lot more encouragement. And I just wanted to say to them, and to all of you really, that I'm so grateful for the encouragement, for you going out and seeing what Global Challenge is doing and giving us the incentive and motivation and faith to keep going. Because sometimes it's really difficult, and it's actually quite difficult at the moment, but just hearing what you're saying and what you've seen and what God is doing has just given us as trustees that encouragement to keep going. And I hope it's given the church that encouragement to keep on going with those partnerships in Uganda. The other thing I wanted to say, Brian, is that Stephen might have talked a lot more than you, but he didn't take as long to say it as you did. So